wakefulness. There is no definite definition is there, explanation is there, but one of the solutions from our renowned physiologist Guyton and all is there. So I am going to discuss on that first of all. Then I will discuss on hypothalamus. Now, when the sleep center. Now your assignment is what is that sleep center, where it is located. Now you could find where is that sleep center. This is your assignment. Okay, if you read the books, then you will find the location of the sleep center, where they are located in the brain stem. When the sleep centers are this cerebral cortex. So in spontaneous activity, in turn excites both the cerebral cortex and the peripheral nervous system. So when sleep center is not activated, then this reticular formation or the reticular formation present on the this midbrain and the pontine region are activated, and the information will go on the relay on the cerebral cortex. Now again, when the cerebral cortex get activated, again they will send the information back to the same reticular activity nuclei located at midbrain and pons. So there is feedback. First of all, from reticular activating system nucleus, it is going from reticular activating system, the information is going to the cortex. Now from the cortex again, the information is going back to the reticular nuclei that is present on the pons and the midbrain. So these are the feedback signal is there. So what will happen ultimately? Therefore, once awakening begins, it has a natural tendency to steal itself because of this positive feedback activity means. So due to the to and fro movement of this information from this reticular formation that is present on the pons and the midbrain and the cerebral cortex causes you to be awake. So this is the feedback mechanism is there. So further activation will be there. Now what will happen ultimately? Then after the hour remains activated for many hours. So if our brain remains active for more hours, even the neurons in the activated state presumably become fatigued. So neurons that is present on the activating system, that is the reticular activating system, they will become inactivated or fatigued. So if they are fatigued, then the information is not going. Consider the positive feedback cycle between this reticular nucleus on the midbrain and the pons and the cerebral cortex get fades. They will diminish, and the sleep promoting effects of the sleep centers takes over, leading to rapid transition from wakeful back to the sleep. Okay, so basically I just want to repeat it once again. When the sleep center is not active, now try to find it out what is that sleep center. Okay, I can tell you what this is assignment for. It will be very important for you. So I do not want to go on detail on sleep centers, where they are located. Simply the location will be fine for you. So the information from this reticular activating system, when you are in awake, then information from reticular activating system go to the cortex, then from back to cortex the information comes to the reticular activating system. Now at a certain point the feedback information fades because the neurons get fatigued. So if the neuron at the reticular activating system get fatigued, then sleep centers will take the upper hand and you feel sleepy. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, okay, now let me discuss on the, first of all, these are the division of forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. You can see this figure. Okay, now I am discussing on hypothalamus. Now, forebrain, telencephalon, diencephalon, midbrain, mesencephalon, hindbrain, this is the another name. If you look at here again, telencephalon, cortic and subcortical area, diencephalon includes this thalamus and hypothalamus, basically the thalamus and hypothalamus. Now I'll discuss more on thalamus. First of all, I'll discuss more on thalamus as hypothalamus, and the Dr. Smriti, I think she will be discussing on thalamus. We have already discussed this basal ganglia and limbic system. I think Dr. Sir is taking the limbic system. Well, cortex, the different lobes of the cortex and the function that are discussed on my next class. So these are the things that you should be knowing. Now let me discuss on hypothalamus. So hypothalamus. So hypothalamus means this is thalamus. If you look at here, these are thalamus. Different nucleus is there. The thalamus itself, and just below the thalamus, this hypothalamus. Hypo means below the thalamus. So this is the hypothalamus. So thalamus consists of different types of nucleus. Depending upon the type of nucleus, you can describe the function of the thalamus. Similarly, there are different types of nucleus is present in the thalamus, hypothalamus. So one by one, I will discuss on those nucleus, and indirectly it will tell you the function of the hypothalamus. Now, if you look at here, the name of the nucleus that is present on the hypothalamus, this preoptic nucleus, this is preoptic nucleus, then supraoptic nucleus and suprachiasmatic nucleus, and this is anterior hypothalamic nucleus. This is again paraventricular nucleus, dorsal nucleus, posterior hypothalamic nucleus, lateral hypothalamic area or nucleus, or this is the ventromedial nucleus, and this one is the arcuate nucleus. So I think you are already knowing the function of the suprachiasmatic nucleus. What is that? Anyone can tell me the function of suprachiasmatic nucleus? This is involved in, I have told you in sleep, isn't it? Circadian rhythm. And supraoptic nucleus also you have already discussed in our endocrine system. And again, and then paraventricular nucleus also we have already discussed in your endocrine system. So in reproductive system, somewhere in the reproductive system, you might have read about arcuate nucleus and preoptic nucleus. Similarly, for this anterior hypothalamic nucleus and posterior hypothalamic nucleus, I think you have read when you discuss on autonomic nervous system. Okay, now I will discuss other function of the nucleus also one by one. Now, mammillary body. So these are the mammillary bodies. You can see these are the mammillary bodies of the nucleus of hypothalamus. Now, they will get the information from hippocampal formation. So it is the component of Papez circuit. So mammillary body is one of the important component of the Papez circuit, and it gets the information from the hippocampal formation. So what is that Papez circuit? What is that Papez circuit? Okay, again in Papez circuit you will be reading more on the Papez circuit in your learning and memory. Learning and memory, it has got very important function of Papez circuit. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Now I want to slightly discuss on Papez circuit. This Papez circuit is main important for the memory consolidation. Okay, for the memory consolidation, I have already told you that this mammillary body get the information from the hippocampal formation. So from hippocampal formation, the information is going to the mammillary body. So from the hippocampal formation, the information is going to the mammillary body, and the fiber that is taking the information from hippocampal formation to the mammillary body is this one is fornix. Okay, fornix. Now from mammillary body again, from the mammillary body again, the information will go to the cingulate gyrus by the thalamus. So from mammillary body, the information will go to the cerebral, cingulate gyrus by the thalamus. Okay, so this is the component. There are 5 components of the Papez circuit is there: hippocampal formation, fornix, mammillary body, thalamus, the cingulate gyrus. Okay, these are the components of the Papez circuit, and one of the most important one is the mammillary body, and this circuit and this mammillary body is involved in the memory formation or memory consolidation. Now again, let us discuss on suprachiasmatic nucleus. I have already discussed in more detail about suprachiasmatic nucleus. So they will get the input or information from the retina and controls the circadian rhythm. That I have already discussed you about the circadian rhythm in more detail. So depending upon the light, if there is light or not, then there will be activation or deactivation of the suprachiasmatic nucleus there, and ultimately that will control the release of the melatonin from the pineal gland. So one of the function of the hypothalamus is memory consolidation, and the nucleus that is important is mammillary body. Another important of hippocampus is that it controls circadian rhythm, and the nucleus that is involved in this case is the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let us discuss on another nucleus of the hypothalamus, that is supraoptic nucleus. Look at here, supraoptic nucleus, we are already knowing that it will produce the antidiuretic hormones. So this suprachiasmatic supraoptic nucleus produces the antidiuretic hormone, and you have already read in your kidney system that these antidiuretic hormones, they are produced by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, and they are stored in the posterior pituitary. Okay. Similarly, paraventricular nucleus produces the oxytocin. Mainly, they will produce the oxytocin. Mainly, the supraoptic nucleus produces the antidiuretic hormone. So it doesn't mean that supraoptic nucleus cannot produce oxytocin, but the production of ADH from supraoptic nucleus is more as compared to the paraventricular nucleus. Paraventricular nucleus can also produce ADH, but the quantity that they will produce is less as compared to the oxytocin from them. So one of the primary function of this optic nucleus is to produce antidiuretic hormone, and this paraventricular is oxytocin. Now indirectly you can say that hypothalamus is involved in water or water intake or water in our body, isn't it? Another function of this, again, this is the one nucleus. Hypothalamus also involved in the ejection of the milk and oxytocin. Now look at here. Now first of all I'll slightly discussion of ADH, and then I'll go to the oxytocin. Now ADH, antidiuretic hormone, they will be acting on kidney. They are acting on the nephrons. Okay, they are acting on the nephrons. So this is look at here. This antidiuretic hormones, they are hormones, so they are collecting duct. Okay, they will mainly act on the collecting duct. So they will cause the insertion of the aquaporin. They will cause the insertion of aquaporin, and they will causes the absorption of the reabsorption of water from the collecting duct. Now oxytocin. Now the oxytocin, we are already knowing the oxytocin, they are for the milk ejection. Okay. And another function of the oxytocin is also present in milk. It's not like that oxytocin is not present in the milk. So what is the function of oxytocin in the male? Okay, they will cause the contraction of seminal this tube, okay, seminal tubes, and they will help to expel the sperm. They will help expel the sperm during the ejaculation. So they will cause the contraction of those ducts. Okay, so this is the function of the oxytocin in male and the female. Female, these are also got importance during the this delivery. The oxytocin is also there. This will cause contraction of uterus as well. Now let me discuss on another area of the nucleus of hypothalamus. This is anterior hypothalamic nucleus. So when the anterior hypothalamic nucleus get activated, they cause heat loss. Another is that activation of posterior hypothalamic nucleus cause the gain of the heat. Another is that this anterior hypothalamic nucleus stimulation cause the parasympathetic nervous system stimulation, and another is that posterior one cause the stimulation of sympathetic nervous system. So you might read that is in the first year that sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, they get origin from the intermediate lateral horn of the spinal cord. Right? We have read, isn't it? So preganglionic fiber of sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system get origin from the intermediate lateral horn of the spinal cord. However, this preganglionic fiber that get origin from the intermediate lateral horn, the spinal cord, is also getting the information from the hypothalamus. Okay, sympathetic one get the information from posterior hypothalamic nucleus, and this preganglionic fiber or parasympathetic get the information from the anterior hypothalamic nucleus. So actually, this preganglionic fiber that of the this sympathetic and parasympathetic are being controlled by hypothalamic nucleus. So autonomic center, actually the autonomic center of the center of the autonomic nervous system is the hypothalamus. But in the first year, you might have read that this parasympathetic get origin from this intermediate lateral horn, this craniosacral. Sympathetic means thoracolumbar. You might have learned, but they themselves are being controlled by the hypothalamus. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Please, 5 of you tell me yes, then I will proceed. Otherwise, I will not proceed.
Yes, sir.
1, 2.
Yes, sir.
3.
Yes, sir.
4.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Means you are understanding, isn't it? Now let me discuss on another nucleus of the hypothalamus. That is dorsomedial nucleus. Okay, this dorsomedial nucleus, those I have kept it what? If the dorsomedial nucleus are stimulated, then it leads to the obesity. Okay, obesity. When partially this one is highly stimulated, means obesity will be there. Now another is the hypothalamus also controls the feeding and satiety behavior. So feeding center and satiety center. So question can be asked in the examination that why short marks on feeding center and satiety center. Now the feeding centers means lateral hypothalamic area. This is the feeding centers. Now ventromedial nucleus are the satiety center. So lateral nucleus is feeding center and ventromedial nucleus is the satiety center. What does that means? Feeding center and satiety center. Suppose the scientist has done experiment on monkey. Scientist has done experiment on monkey and they stimulated this lateral hypothalamic area. Look at it, lateral hypothalamic area. Where is that? Lateral hypothalamic area. Okay, this area. So scientists stimulated this lateral hypothalamic area. So what happened? This means feeding center get stimulated. And they found that when the scientists stimulated this lateral hypothalamic area, they found that despite the monkey is full means stomach is full, they wants to eat more and more food. More and more food. So feeding center, this shows that it increases your feeding behavior. This, if you have taken a full stomach also, if this lateral hypothalamic area is stimulated, then you want it more. Again, now ventromedial nucleus, this is satiety center. Where is that ventromedial nucleus? Now looking at this ventromedial nucleus. Now again the scientists inserted the electrode, okay, micro electrode, and they stimulated these areas, ventromedial nucleus. What they had found? That the monkey, even it was very hungry, due to the stimulation of this ventromedial nucleus, he or she or that didn't want it more, or they didn't eat at all. So this shows that this is the satiety center, isn't it? Despite you are hungry, if this ventromedial nucleus is being stimulated, you do not want to eat. Despite you are very full, stomach is full, this nucleus is stimulated by micro electrode, then you desire or wants to eat more. This behavior is there. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Now if you look at here, the satiety center inhibits the feeding center. Satiety center inhibits the feeding center, and feeding center inhibits the satiety center. Okay, when the satiety center is stimulated by any means, like by any means means glucose. If the level of the glucose is high, okay, if the level of glucose is high, glucose receptors are present on this satiety center. Means if glucose level is high, then you do not want to eat, isn't it? So you are satisfied. How you are satisfied? The glucose will act on the glucose receptor that is present on the satiety center. So the stimulation of this satiety center goes on, and that will inhibit the feeding center. Okay, this is the molecular mechanism for the stimulation of the satiety center. If you want to do the experiment directly, you can also stimulate the feeding and the satiety center, and you can see the result as well. But it's not like that we are going to stimulate, isn't it? But if you have got high vital glucose in our body, then the glucose receptors are present on the satiety center, and that will inhibit the feeding center. Means they will stimulate the satiety center, and that satiety center inhibits the feeding center. Now another nucleus that is present in the hypothalamus is preoptic nucleus. This preoptic nucleus regulates the release of gonadotrophic hormone GnRH, okay, and promotes the sleep. That I have also told you in the sleep, isn't it? This spike was there. That's spike name simply I have told you. So from the preoptic nucleus, this gonadotropin releasing hormone will be released, and GnRH will be released, and there from the portal system it will go to the anterior pituitary. From there it will get stored and get released. So GnRH will be released from the preoptic nucleus. Another is arcuate nucleus. They will produce the hypothalamic releasing factors. Okay, there are different types of this hypothalamic releasing factor will be produced for arcuate nucleus, and contains dopaminergic neurons, which inhibits the prolactin secretion. Okay, this is the most important one. This arcuate nucleus contains the dopaminergic neurons, which inhibit the prolactin release. Am I clear? And this also consists the leptin receptor. So main important for this arcuate nucleus is that their content dopamine is a neuron which inhibits prolactin release. Okay, this is the important. And when you are discussing on this reproductive system, might be you have encountered this function of the arcuate nucleus. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So these are the things that you should be knowing. And another is that now let me discuss on this reward and punishment center. This again, the reward and punishment center, they are present in the hypothalamus. I have told you that just before, this feeding and satiety center are present in the hypothalamus. Similarly, reward and punishment center are also present in the hypothalamus. Now, what is there? What is the name of the reward center that is present in the hypothalamus? There is electrical stimulation means microelectrode. Again, this experiment was done by the scientists in the monkey. So, if we insert the microelectrode and stimulates this ventral and ventromedial nucleus and lateral nucleus. So if we stimulate the lateral and ventromedial nucleus of hypothalamus, then animal get pleased. Means they will show the behavior that they are satisfied. Okay, or they will, even if this experiment is done in the us also, then will start to laugh. Okay, in animal, then the aggressive behavior was abolished. Of the animals, so pleases the animals. So electrical, this is the reward sign. Now another is that different books has written. Okay, this I have took this information from the Guyton again. So if the question is asked, all these are the reward center. Okay, A, B, C, D. All these are the reward center. But which one is the major reward center? This is the lateral and ventromedial nucleus of the hypothalamus. So if you read the books, suppose that you read the books, not the backup like that. Then if you read the books, then you will find that septum, amygdala, this area, basal tegmentum area of the midbrain, all these are the reward center is being written. But the major reward center is the lateral and ventromedial nuclei of the hypothalamus. Am I clear?
So the total area count.
Okay, septum. Okay, septum. Okay, this is septum. It is also present in the brain. Okay, it is also present in the brain. Septum area is there. Just I now exactly I cannot show you in the figure, isn't it? So right now I haven't got that figure. If you look at the anatomy books, then you can find the area of the septum where it's exactly located. Okay, am I clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Now let me again discuss on the reward center. Reward center is also present in, okay, just I have told you that reward center, they are present in the hypothalamus, and the areas are basically the major area is the lateral and ventromedial nuclei of the hypothalamus. So another area, just I am going beyond the hypothalamus. Okay, I am discussing on the reward center. Another area also has got reward center. Where is that area that has got reward center? So basically this reward center I have just discussed on the right, and now this one I have took this information from the gamma. Now this reward center is also present in the mesocortical system. What is that mesocortical system? So reward center is also there in the mesocortical center, and you can call this nucleus accumbens. Okay, this nucleus accumbens as a reward center. So it is outside hypothalamus, and this nucleus accumbens is also considered as a reward center. Now, slightly going this about this dopamine from the two systems. Okay, now actually in this nucleus accumbens, if you look at here, these are nucleus accumbens are here. Nucleus accumbens, this is the area of the nucleus accumbens. Okay, this is present in the cortex itself. Look at here, it has primary from the ventral tegmentum area. This is the ventral tegmentum area that is present in the brainstem, and which projects to nucleus accumbens and limbic subcortical areas. Okay, this should be from this area, ventral tegmentum area. This ventral tegmentum area, they are projecting to the nucleus accumbens, and another area is also from the limbic system as well. They are also this limbic system, and this prefrontal cortex they are projecting on. Okay, so this mesocortical system involves in the reward behavior and addiction and in psychic disorders such as schizophrenia. So you can call this nucleus accumbens as a reward center. Why? This ventral tegmentum area, they are projecting. If you look at it, these are the projections, these are the neurons. This is the cell body, and these are the neurons. They are going to different areas of the brain. Look at here. Now they will release the dopamine over here. This nucleus, which nucleus? Nucleus accumbens. They also release dopamine at this limbic system and subcortical areas as well. So these are the dopamines are being produced at the nucleus accumbens by this projection. Ventral tegmentum area, they will release this dopamine at the level of nucleus accumbens. So nucleus accumbens is also considered as a reward center. Another, I have already discussed you. Another area that will also produce the dopamine, I have also told you, this substantia nigra. Okay, these are the fibers, nigrostriatal fiber. This is from the nigra. This nigra, the fibers are projecting. Okay, these are projecting fibers, and there are stratum is there. Stratum are here. Okay, and that pathway is known as the nigrostriatal system, isn't it? Nigrostriatal pathway or nigrostriatal system. This is the nigrostriatal from nigra to stratum. So they releases the dopamine. So if the question is asked like that, which nucleus secretes the dopamine, then you are already knowing from the brain, substantia nigra, and another is ventral tegmentum area, and they are projecting up to the one of the most important functions of ventral tegmentum area is that they will release this dopamine at the level of nucleus accumbens. So that will cause the reward to the animal. So if you suppose the person is drug addict, okay, now let me slightly switch on the drug addiction. Suppose the recreational drug is there. So what is ultimately happening in the recreational drug means they will stimulate or they will release more amount of dopamine over this area, this nucleus accumbens. So more and more dopamine are being released. So at the physiological level, the dopamine has to be released, but the recreational drugs cause the release, pathological release of dopamine at this level. So they will feel high and they reward, and they likes to eat more and more of that recreational drug. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let me discuss again on the punishment center. Where is that punishment? Just I have discussed you the reward center. Reward center is present in hypothalamus as well as nucleus accumbens because it gets the information from the ventral tegmentum area, and here the dopamines are released. And this is also the physiological basis for the drug addiction also. And again the side schizophrenia also, there is also the role of the nucleus accumbens also in schizophrenia. Okay, the dopamine is being released over there also. Now let me discuss on punishment center that is present in the hypothalamus. So I have told you that the stimulation of this lateral and ventromedial nucleus causes the animal to be pleased and they will be satisfied. However, if we strongly stimulate that area, lateral and ventromedial nucleus, then the animal feel punished. Rather than reward, rather than please, the animal starts to behave like they are being punished. So another idea is also there. That is also the punishment. One is the stimulation of periventricular zone of the hypothalamus. So periventricular zone of the hypothalamus stimulation also causes the animal to be punished. So another is one is stimulation and the overstimulation. Just like we have discussed on the stretch and inverse stretch reflex, isn't it? If the muscle is stretched, it will contract. That is the stretch reflex. If the muscle is overstretched, then it will causes the muscle to be relaxed. Like that, stimulation of lateral and ventromedial nucleus causes reward, but the overstimulation causes the animal to be punished. Okay, these are the areas of the reward and punishment center. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is the thing. Okay, the class is over actually. Okay, this is the topic which was there. So now I will ask you few questions, and before that, let me take your attendance. Then I will ask a few questions to you as well. Attendance is low. Now let me ask the question to Aditi Shukla. Okay, I have asked you. Okay, now I will ask another Archana Paria. Archana, can you hear me? Hello, she's not there. Hello, Yuvras. Okay, you are there. I have already asked you. Shweta Burma, can you hear me, Shweta?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will ask you one question to you related to hypothalamus. Okay, it's not as difficult. Now what is the function of paraventricular nucleus? One of the most important functions of paraventricular nucleus is to release. You are not there. Hello. Sijal Nirola. Sijal, can you hear me?